Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be the weekly review of the Power Profit Scan newsletter, which is a part of the Inner Circle subscription that I offer at the site. You get, with that subscription, access to the live trading chat room, but you also get this weekly newsletter that I send out over the weekend. And what I've been doing is just going over the scan so you can kind of get an idea, a look behind the scenes, if you will, but also some real-time learning examples of how trading works in general, and then specifically how the newsletter works and what you would get as part of the subscription. Couple disclosures. First off, am I trying to imply that every single scan that is sent out is always winners, always big gains, always profitable? Absolutely not. In fact, if you've watched any of the past videos I do in this series, you've seen I've shown plenty of losing trades. I've shown plays where you just don't get any opportunity, or you just don't get into the trade. So I'm not trying to imply that at all. Nobody's perfect. Losses happen. But what is important is the importance of discipline, the importance of managing risk, because while losses do happen, winners also happen. So you want to make sure that you know how to control the losers, so that when, by definition, the winners also happen, your account's in a place where it can profit and then grow over a longer term time frame. Second, we are going to be looking at scans from back here on the week of 10/22. Why am I going back so far? Well, two reasons. First is it's just giving the chart plenty of time to unfold, plenty of time to just play out so that we can see what actually happens. And second, it's a matter of being fair. The last thing I would want, and I'm sure you'd understand, is if you paid for something and then all of a sudden you see what you just paid for out on the internet for free. That wouldn't be fair to you. So that's why I want to give this stuff plenty of time to kind of play out here, and then just a matter of being fair. But the kind of underlying theme here I want to focus on is more so knowledge to adjust, knowledge to think on your feet, and why just being a blind puppet really doesn't work, and why being a blind puppet is actually very costly. Here's the first setup we're going to go over that was sent out. As I stated in the opening, this is sent out over the weekend. So what you see is just the chart going into the weekend, and then the next day you'll see will be Monday. But just going through here, you can see that the category was a volatility play, and then I made a comment about how $25 could be a nice potential entry point, if the price continued to get violent and just because it was a crazy mover. So at first, $25 was the focal point, but at first, remember, the power of knowledge, the power of being able to think for yourself. Now, my plan here is, I can't turn this into some huge 45-minute video where I explain every little detail, but what I am going to do, especially for you Clay Trader University members that enjoy watching these videos, I'm going to take a couple of these and use them in the live webinar this Tuesday, so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Hopefully you already notice and you're like, oh yeah, I see exactly how that would work out, because these should all be relatively in your face, relatively logical to you, assuming you've gone through the courses and all that. If not, don't worry about it. That's the whole point of the live webinars. We'll get you figured out on Tuesday. But if you're just watching this, I'm still gonna show some examples, but I'm not gonna go into all the nitty-gritty details, just because time is limited, and yeah, there are paying members of the university program. Again, just a matter of being fair. So let's see how things played out. Remember though, $25 was the key. So you can start to see that this occurs. Price just starts to go sideways, and it's looking like, okay, well, $25 isn't really a possibility. But there are some dynamics going on here. Again, knowledge is power. When you have knowledge, when you've invested into yourself, when your mentality, which by the way is 100% false despite what others may tell you, but when your mentality is, just tell me what to do. I don't want to have to think for myself. I don't want to. Just tell me what to do from A to Z. I don't want to think for myself. Like I said, maybe in some areas in life that'll actually work, but in the market, it doesn't work like that. And you can see that, yeah, sure, while it never hit 25, for the person that is invested in their knowledge, and like I said, there's very clear signals here that, it may make sense to throw $25 to the side, and you can see right there, a bounce did ultimately happen, which was a nice 17% move in the matter of just a couple of weeks. Am I saying people played it perfectly for 17? No, but let's say you got it for 10. I am aware of no banks in the world that are going to give you 10% return on your money in 2 weeks. If you know of a bank that will do that, then please let me know. But 10% in 2 weeks, not too bad. But like I said, the power of knowledge, the power, and that's one of the things. Well, what does knowledge get you? Why do you say knowledge is powerful? The ability to adjust. There's one example. And yeah, there were some adjustments that would have needed to be made from the original premise of 25, but I assure you that if you had the knowledge, then you would have been able to make the adjustments. You'd have seen certain things that would have worked out and could have gotten you still a nice little trade. The next one here to look at, AMD, and threw it into a risk versus reward category. And as you see right here, as I mapped out, may not happen in the coming week, but within the next could present a nice entry. And then down here, right around the $20 mark. So that was the overall premise. Could it get down to that $20 mark, with the pullback? So here's what the chart looked like going into that week. And we'll let things play out. And then that crazy day happened. But on this is the situation where, again, with knowledge, you would be able to adjust. The price gap down below 20. And, I'm not going to get into all the nitty-gritty details of things. But choosing your entry point down around that area would have made sense. It would have made very logical sense. Again, and this is for you Clay Trader University members, I will be talking about this one for sure on Tuesday, because there's so many great reminders and learning lessons that go into it that have all been taught, but that just need to be maybe reinforced. But maybe you see exactly why I would have adjusted where I did. So let's just see how this one continues to play out. And you can see right there, the entry point would have happened, hovers around that area, and then all of a sudden, right back to life it goes. And I realize, and I admit, yes, I do have hindsight in my favor, but like I said, there's actually nothing complicated behind any of what I've done here. Yeah, there's some learning that you need to do. There's some knowledge required, but it's not like I'm just making this stuff up, and it is very, like I said, rational for these locations that I've mapped out on the chart. So we'll see how this one continued to unfold, and eventually worked its way all the way up there for a nice 32% bounce off of the, again, adjustment. And I promise you, I 100% promise you. In fact, there's why I offer the 30-day money-back guarantee on Clay Trader University. I promise you that there are things that exist out there that you can gain knowledge-wise that would have made this adjustment more than rational, more than logical. And, so just keep that in mind. So 32% bounce right there, in a matter of, I don't know, about a couple of weeks. Again, I'm not saying anybody made 32%. Let's say you screwed up half the trade. So you only made 16%. Well, I don't know any banks in the world, like I said, that would give you 16% return on your money in only 2 weeks. So very, very nice move there. But again, the main thing, the knowledge of power. What's one of the attributes of knowledge? The ability to adjust, the ability to think on your feet. The final one we're going to look at here is TTNP. And before I forget, take note of the price of this one. Now we're talking about a stock that's below $1. So the previous ones, we were talking about a $20 stock. And then the other one was, a little bit more than that, above 20. Or I guess those ones were both around 20 now that I think about it. But regardless, you get the idea. We've looked at big boards, and now all of a sudden we're looking at a penny stock. So, Clay, what kind of newsletter or what kind of stocks do you track in the newsletter? Hey, if I think there's a potential profitable setup, I will alert it no matter the price. So, there's that common question that I get. So, like I said, and this does a good example of that. We've been talking about $20 stocks. Now, all of a sudden, we're at a penny stock here. But like I said, TTNP, and as I called it, pullback play. And as I highlighted over here, breakout bounce has already happened. So don't be a guppy and chase. Remember, you don't want to be a guppy. But any kind of panic pullback could become interesting. And I did map out this area down here. But notice it's, just any kind of panic pullback. So you got to kind of think, all right, well, is it going down to 25 or just how can I judge the pullback? Because any kind of pullback could be interesting. And that's exactly, what you're going to see has happened. What I really like about this one is how it essentially reinforces a bad habit that, yeah, it works out, but in the long run, it's going to bite you. So remember I said, hey, don't chase. Got to wait for some sort of pullback. Well, I suppose you could call that some sort of pullback, but that'd be a little too pie in the sky. All right, so yeah, then you would have bought it right there. No, that's not being very genuine. But then all of a sudden, there it goes. And the crazy thing is, people saw this spike, and you better believe that people were buying there, and people were buying there, and people were buying there. And literally, or else that candlestick would not have formed, somebody literally bought right up at essentially 61, 62 cents. Somebody bought there. Some poor soul bought there, and they chased, and then all of a sudden that happened, and then that happened, and then that happened, and the pullback has begun. Now remember, that was the original premise of the alert was, hey, let's wait for some sort of pullback. Again, I suppose you could count that as a pullback, but like I said, I could have said, oh yeah, well, you bought right here at 34 and then you got up there at 60 and you made, yeah, but like I said, that would be disingenuous because that's a little too perfect. But now this is where knowledge comes into play. And like I said, if you are, and I'm not saying you've gone through my courses, but just in general, there should be something that, arises and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, the pullback has now become potentially an interesting spot. And right there, you get a very nice bounce. And like I said, there's dynamics that occurred chart-wise that would have made down around this area actually illogical to get in. Sure, it didn't hit 25, but remember, the ability to think on your feet, the ability to adjust, the ability to judge a pullback and, what, sort of dynamics you should look for. And that bounce right there was 62.5% of a profit window. Again, let's say you screwed up half of it, you're still looking at 31.25%. 31.25%, and this bounce happened in basically 2 days. So I'll guarantee you that no bank in the world is going to give you 32.25% on your money in 2 days. I mean, remember, that's considering you screwed up half the trade. Let's say you got 40% out of it, maybe even 50. I mean, that's a great percent move in a very short amount of time, but it all started with knowledge and the ability to adjust, the ability to analyze the situation, have an overall premise, and then, start to think for yourself. So, some good examples there of, just why you got to learn, why you can't, be a total puppet. If you are interested in joining and learning a little bit more, here are the different dynamics that do come with the service. Yeah, we already talked about the newsletter here, but there's that live trading chat room. And you get other things too, including a mobile app. That way you don't have to change your computer. You can keep in touch with the community in the chat room. You can keep in touch with the newsletter and the scans wherever you are. So that's a nice little added feature, I think. As far as the cost, $99 per year, not per week, not per quarter, not per month, per year. If you pull out the calculator and run the math, you'll see that actually breaks down to $8.25 per month. Or if you want to break down those numbers even more, it goes to $1.90 per week. So truly a fair price. And as I say every week and will continue to say, I am very, very confident that over the time span of 12 months, you'll get at least $99 worth of value. So the pricing is more than fair. If you are interested, you can just go to this link right there, or if you just go to claytrader.com, there's a section at the top of Inner Circle, and you can click on that and join up right there. I hope you do decide to join us, and it's a great community. If you do have any questions, leave those in the comment section below. Reach out to me on social media, reach out to me through the website, whatever makes your life easier. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.